I am live. Look at this. All right, guys, bear with me. It's my first time doing this. I may have this on a couple of different screens.
Bear with me. It's my first time doing this.
Let me just shut that one off. I wasn't sure if this was going to work. I set it for 10 o'clock, and then I couldn't tell if I was ready to rock or roll. Oh, we've got some. Hang on here. Oh, we've got some. Hang on here. I've got like 10 pages open. Hang on. You still there? How about now? All right. So I see I have 3 people, but I can't see who you guys are. So go ahead and send me in the chat box. Let me know who you are. See what's going on. Let me see where we're at with things here. Jan C, hello. Oh, hey, what's up, girl? Hey, what's up, Jason? Cool, buddy. Well, we're up to 4 people. So you guys go ahead if you have any questions along the way. I'm just gonna wait till a few more people pop online. I don't know if we're gonna get like 1 million or 7. I'm not really sure. This is the first time. It's something I want to do on a regular basis, specifically talking about what the journey from powerlifting to bodybuilding is all about, but also at the same time, anything else about training, what you guys are going through. If you have any questions, obviously I like to help as many people as I can. First off, if you are tuning in and you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. So this way, and hit the bell so that whenever we do something like this, we're able to get you notified. So Jan C, your why. My why am I doing this? Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. For sure. I've been watching your progress too. I'm just checking different things here, see what's happening on the social medias. This is my first time through this. Oh, we got 8 people on. Go ahead, guys. Chop in on the chat, say hi, so I get an idea of who you are and what's going on. We're talking specifically tonight about why I'm switching from powerlifting to bodybuilding at 50 years old. I had some goals in powerlifting, came close, but it's time for a switch. I feel it's time for a switch. One of the biggest reasons is I've been hitting the heavy lifting now for back at it for over 3 years. So it's been great. You know, I was chasing that 600-pound goal. I missed by 75 a couple times in my last couple of meets. So close just to lockout. And then I was just trying to figure out if was it my training or was it maybe I've just really peaked. You know, the last 3 years and specifically the last 8 months of really focusing hard on it. And it was a bit of some bigger things, some different things. You know, 8 years ago, 9 years ago when I started Hostile, it all started because I was 400 pounds. I was really fat. I was severely out of shape. I mean, I couldn't do stairs or whatever like that. So I just started training and got into bodyweight stuff and kettlebell training. And that's how we created Hostile Conditioning, which is almost 9 years old now. Came out of that and I went down to 290 pounds. And I mean, I ran a Spartan race. I wouldn't say run, but I completed a Spartan race, which was huge, way outside my wheelhouse and comfort zone. But I also ran a couple of the Army runs, 5Ks, never did that before. So what I really started to miss is the fact that I had some big goals and challenges that were really outside my normal comfort zone, things I like to do. And I've been kind of mulling that over for the last year or so. I love benching. I've been doing it for 30 years. I'll always do it. I'll come back to it. I'm not worried about that. But I was just getting this yearning where I want to really do something much more challenging, much more outside my comfort zone. You know, I know the bench and I know the hard work and I'm willing to do it and stuff. I know it. So the bodybuilding has been something that's always been in the back of my mind ever since I was a teenager. You know, I picked up the muscle mags and did all that stuff, and you know, followed guys like you know, Lee Haney, Rich Gasperi, Bob Paris. Those are the guys I started with, and then you know, I have to be honest, the bodybuilding world now, I really have no clue who's who and what's happening and stuff. So I'm starting to look back into it. You know, I mean, the last time I was kind of into it was the Ronnie Coleman era where he won the 8 Mr. Olympias, and then there's been other guys since then, and I'd have a hard time telling you their names. So, you know, I'd say easily 10, 15 years that I really wasn't into that aspect of it. overall. So, it's kind of cool to come back to that. But something, though, deep down from a teenager, from, even when I got into training, was to lose weight and stuff back, in college days. I really wanted to bodybuild some stuff. Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy? It's working? Awesome, buddy. Awesome. So, yeah, here we go. My first YouTube live, so it's pretty cool. But I've always wanted to do it. It's always been in the back of my mind. I've always dreamt about what posing music I would have, what kind of routine I would do, and stuff like that. Am I excited to go out there in a pair of fucking posing shorts? No. But you know what? Get abs. I'll probably never want to wear clothes again. So who knows? Who knows what's going on with that, right? But really, it's about going after something in my bucket list that's been sitting there for a very, very long time. In my 20s, I thought about it. In my 30s, I thought about it. In my 40s, no, I didn't think about it. But it's something that I really, really I know I have to do. I want to complete, but I also know that it's going to get me to harness different areas of my life that, really could use it. So the discipline of never, straying from nutrition, the discipline of, planning my meals, the discipline of eating for looks as much as for weight loss. So, when I lost that 290, I lost a lot of weight, but I lost some muscle, and I was a big guy. And it was weird because at 290, I felt small. I felt tiny. I felt it was a weird, bizarre thing. I found it very, very uncomfortable. Now I know a lot of you are thinking like, holy fuck, 290 pounds, you felt tiny. Well, from 400, I did. Right? It was very, very different. It was in my headspace. The strength was different. I didn't stay there very long. I quickly got back into the 315s and 320s. And then at the peak of powerlifting in December, November, I competed twice, missing that 575 a couple times. And then I had a final meet planned out for December 15th in New York. And I came out with a horrible flu, like just a fever and the cough for like almost 30 days. I was tired. I was weak. I barely trained. So I went down to New York, as I said I would. And I went down with some friends. A couple of guys were competing from the gym. And I said, you know what? I'll weigh in. I'll see what's going on. And I think I weighed in at 392 pounds. And I said, we'll see about the next morning. I went to bed earlier. I got out of bed the next morning, did 5 push-ups, and I'm like, this is not happening. So I was there for support, and working with our lifters and just being around it. Great. I'm glad I went. A little bummed that I didn't go, because if I'd have benched what I normally bench, I would have done very well. And I didn't want to bench much, a lot less than I normally do, because that's not who I am, right? I don't want to win a meet not at my best. That's not important to me. But I really started thinking about the bodybuilding on the drive up, while we were there. And with the holidays coming on, typically, you go through Christmas, you struggle and stuff. And I said, you know what? I really want to go through this Christmas different. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to start eating better, and I'm going to start working out. So I started the bodybuilding workouts. I started doing, 15 minutes every other day of cardio just to ramp things back up. And it was tough, guys, because I hadn't done it in a long time. But from December 15th to weighing in this morning, I've lost 33 pounds. So I don't know what the math is on that. Let me get a calculator here. 392 minus 33. Yeah, 359 in just 2 days shy of a month. So tightening things up, getting active. But the other thing too is excited about the training, excited about getting to the gym and doing legs. I remember telling Steph, my training partner, Steph Morissette, I haven't done a full leg workout in like 5-6 years. I was afraid. I like, dude, I'm not gonna go heavy. I'll be crippled. I'm not gonna be able to fucking walk, and that's not what I want to do. So we just did basic stuff, but high intensity, and then just went through it. Now we just finished, week 4 of bodybuilding. I'm actually looking forward to legs, if you want to believe it or not. But what I'm enjoying is that that high intensity, that big amount of reps. I'm nursing my shoulder. I just actually went through physio for this first time in forever on my shoulder, and doing some building some range of motion and stuff. So my shoulder, I started doing my own rehab stuff, and I've got inflamed bicep tendon, the tendon that comes off the pec minor, and the tendon that comes in off the clavicle. But because of my mobility being bad after all these years, they're not getting a chance to get a break. So we're working on increasing that mobility. I've been into the physio twice for an hour each, and it's been brutal. He's destroying me, making me cry out like a small child on a stormy night. But already last Sunday was so bad I couldn't even bench the plate. I couldn't get it all the way down. And today I benched 225 for 5 sets of 5. and I could have went heavier, but I didn't want to overdo it. So I had a good full chest workout, full finishing up some good cable crossovers, like getting to feel the muscles, a lot of high rep stuff, and then a good tricep finisher and stuff. So I'm really getting into the pump, and I'm enjoying it, and that's kind of cool. We're doing the old style blood and guts, Dorian Yates. So the concept is pretty simple. It's a couple of medium sets to kind of warm up, figure out where your reps are, your weights are, and then a third all-out set with forced reps, negatives, like very can't do another rep set, and then move on to the next exercise. 5 or 6 exercises. The whole workout are taking about 20 to 35 minutes once we get started. So some good, like I said, blood and guts. When we're done, we're like just breathing hard and getting our ass kicked. So it's been really cool to do a different style of training. But what's really been cool is the fact that I'm pumped and I'm excited about it. And it's spilling over. So, I'm watching what I'm eating. The food is good. The meal prep is better. Like, because I sit there and I go, if I'm going to do all this, then it makes a big difference, right? And that's the exciting part. That's the part that I'm really enjoying now that I'm 4 or 5 weeks, about to start week 5. I'm not overly sore. Next couple of days, I'm like, oh, great chest workout, great leg workout, great back workout. The cardio is up to 25 minutes. I'm working the stationary bike, going slow. This week, I'm going to start adding the elliptical. I know everyone laughs about the elliptical, but it's about increasing the intensity in a way that my body can adapt, and to the point where I don't overdo it, and then all of a sudden I don't want to do the workouts, right? And I think that's the big thing too. Is at my age, with a lot going on, is I don't want to go too quick or too hard to the point where I'm devastated and I don't want to work out for a week, if that makes sense. I kind of want to not leave the gym wanting more because we're 4 weeks in. They're great workouts and I'm glad they're over. But knowing that, I can't wait till Tuesday's leg night again. But tomorrow I got that cardio. So around 2 o'clock, I'm going to hop on the elliptical and I'm going to do my first 15 to 20-minute workout on the elliptical. And it's going to be stressful for me because I'm not used to it. All right. And as my fitness level increases, then I'll increase the difficulty of the cardio overall. So it's not about, blood and guts on the cardio. I don't want to stress the nervous system every day so high. I want to stress with the workout, next day bring it down, up with the workout, next day bring it down. So we sort of wave the intensity up and down on the nervous system. So I keep recovering really well and recovering really well at 50. And I think that's the exciting part of it as well. Guys, it's cool to, I can feel the biceps. I haven't felt them in a long time. I can feel the pecs. I haven't felt them that way. Powerlifting, heavy benching is very little with the pecs. It's triceps and shoulders. So to be able to feel the pecs and the thickness and the tightness and stuff, already starting to see the shape of the body change a little bit. It's pretty exciting, right? And I think that's the biggest part that I want to get out of this is the fact that it's a different challenge, that it excites me. Right. And I think that's what's super important, because I think if we don't challenge ourselves properly, then it gets mundane or what if I miss a workout? It's not that big a deal. Well, this is a big fucking deal. This is something I've never done before. I've always wanted to do. And by the end of the year, I'm looking to step on stage. What's that going to look like? What's that going to feel like? And I don't want to screw it up. So the workouts in January matter for November, if that's when the meet is, the competition is. The way I eat in January matters for the workouts now and for later on when I get into, the 10 weeks out from the competition. What's that going to look like? So I mean, am I going to weigh 265 on stage? Am I going to weigh 245 on stage? I don't know. I have no idea. I have a couple ideas, but it's even hard to phantom it. What would that be like? What would it be like walking around with abs? Like, I mean, I've never had that, right? And to me, that's what's the challenge, and that's what's exciting. In fact, when I look at the bodybuilding as a sport and the bodybuilders as an athlete, it's that attention to detail and the nutrition, I think, is super, super powerful. And that to me is what I think is the coolest part about that sport. If I look at bodybuilding, I think the coolest part about bodybuilding is being able to withstand heavy loads and be explosive and fearless. To me, that's the shock and awe of that sport. I find every sport has like a shock and awe, or that one thing that, man, that's the mastery has to be here for this sport. And there's nothing wrong with putting the two together. But I've kind of straddled that power bodybuilder thing for a while, where I'm a power lifter, but I'm trying to get leaner, and it's kind of worked. But you kind of, when you have a foot in either side, you kind of get those kind of results. So really, to push it forward to the point where I'm putting it on the line. I'm committing socially. I'm telling everyone now I'm committing to that event. It makes it bigger. It makes it more real. It makes it more, I'm more committed, right? And that to me is what's super powerful. And I think for a lot of us, when we're either getting back to training or we're really trying to move to that next level into something different, we need to be challenged. We need to be scared a little bit. We need to be focused. We need to be excited. And we need to surround ourselves with it so that it's front of mind all the time. The biggest issue I see for a lot of people trying to make any change is if you're doing it twice a week, right? Well, then if you're only forced around it for twice a week or involved in it once or twice a week, you've got 5, 6 other days of the week to derail you, to take your attention, to take your focus off it, right? Whereas, going in every day and working a little bit of cardio and working the nutrition, like I'm being reminded about it every day. I think I want to do this live cast every Sunday, just to check in and again, more accountability. And if I can help other people along the way and more people are benefiting, then it gives empowers me even more to want to do it overall. That makes sense. Any questions, guys, so far on what's going on or what I'm doing, or what are you doing? What do you guys got going on? Jan, I know you've changed your training from powerlifting. You've made some changes. What are you working on now? What's your big focus? Jan C, I know who you are. If you want to throw in what you got going on, Jason, how about you, bud? I know you've been working on the conditioning and the weight loss and stuff. What's the big thing for you that you're focusing on? Just type it in, guys. Don't be shy. Crickets. That's cool. How about you, Steve, man? I mean, I know we've changed up the training a little bit too, right? With the Silverback Blueprint at Hostile. We're doing more of the conditioning, the bodybuilding work and stuff. What are you thinking about that so far? Jason, fat loss, build muscle. Yeah. Going well? Steve, you know what I'm working on. Yes, I do. Absolutely, bud. You're doing awesome. And you guys are all, you guys are doing great. So you're gonna go physique, eh, Jan? Are you thinking of competing in it, or are you gonna see how far you can go first? What are your thoughts? What's the dream there? Janet, who loves purple. Weight loss, yeah. Jason, 3 weeks strong, 3 days a week. So you mean like more like heavy lifting 3 days a week? Is that what you got going on there? Guys, I see we have 8 people following. I only have 4 or 5 that are throwing their name up there. If you guys want to just chime in who you are, if you have any questions, any comments, any advice for me, especially if you're from the bodybuilding community, Lord knows I could use it. Lord knows. Steve, I'd like to work on losing fat around the belly while still losing weight. Everything else is getting stronger. Steve, absolutely, bud. The year plus you've been with me, your physique has changed. You've got more muscle. You're stronger. You're fitter. Tightening up the food, man. That's going to be the thing. That's where you're going to see that change around the stomach and stuff, right? Janet, about getting stronger for now, for sure. For sure. I know you. How much have you lost altogether now, Janet? Is it over 40 pounds? I watch what you're doing. I check the social medias. Anytime, Steve, for sure. But you're one of my favorites. Absolutely, Janet. I know if you do a competition, your bikini would be in purple. I would expect nothing less. 35 pounds and 20 inches down. That's fantastic. So where would you want to be? Even to think about going on stage, where would you want to be? How many more pounds would that look like for you? Guys, if you're just joining us, I see the numbers going up and down a little bit. If you're just joining us, we're talking about my transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding at 50, getting into some of the stuff I'm working on. I'm talking to some of the people here about what they're working on, stuff like that. Also, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please click subscribe, but then also make sure you hit that little bell so you get reminded whenever we've got something new coming on. You get the little reminder for what we've got going on stuff, right? So you can stay informed and to know, right? Not sure, Janet? Not quite ready? Or is just, you're making great progress, which is really exciting overall. What's your favorite part about this style of training? What you're doing, coming from powerlifting, going into this physique? What's your favorite part of the transition? Jess, like, I didn't think you were going to ask me 100 questions, Curd. You find you're more dedicated now? Yeah? More. So what do you got going on? You got more workouts per week? More focus on the nutrition. I know you're working with a coach right now, which is fantastic. I think it's very important that you do stuff like that. Coaching will always give you motivation and content and valuable information that'll make things more efficient for you, but also that accountability, right? And it shows that you're serious. Jason, the rush of the blood, the pump, the high reps. Yeah, absolutely. I gotta say that's one of the things I'm really physically enjoying a lot about the powerlifting is that when we're done the legs are pumped and they're thick, but you're spent. You fucking did a great workout and stuff like that. Janet, more nutrition, better nutrition, more workouts. So again, going back to what I was talking about, on a 7-day span, you're much more involved daily in this endeavor, and I find in doing that it's more front of mind. So I find not easier to stay on track, but easier to stay on track because you're surrounded by it more, right? And I think that's the other thing too. If you can be surrounded, having a training partner makes a big difference. I know it's hard, for guys like Jason that work out on their own, super busy, and then have a home gym. It's great that you're doing that, but sometimes that motivation is tough. Sometimes that go at it aloneness is difficult and stuff like that, right? So that's a thing to master, and that's the thing to figure out, and maybe find a partner locally that wants to train or stuff, or hit a gym once a week or a couple times a month just to get into that atmosphere and to get that feeling going. Steve, I like doing the bench and the deadlift. I hope we can incorporate some conditioning and get back in our silverback workouts. It's not always easy to do it on the days off. And that's the hard part, Steve, is that, if you're in 3 times a week, which is great, but there's only so many modalities of training that we can do and stuff. So what I'm looking to do with you guys in the silverback is every 4 to 6 weeks, flip it. So we're doing more volume on the lifting and stuff. And then we'll go back to 4 or 5 weeks of more conditioning and then back to more 4 or 5 weeks of powerlifting. So we kind of take the best of all 3 worlds and rotate through it and stuff. And that's sometimes the best we can do when we have a little bit of a frequency issue and stuff, right? But that's the other thing too, where even just getting out of the house for a little bit and getting in the gym and just riding the bike for 20-30 minutes, right? Just gets you, especially if you're working from home, change the scenery a little bit, get some fresh air, but also a little interaction, a little break in the day, get some cardio going, breathe a little bit, move better, recover from the last workout, but then short and sweet, and then you can get back about your day. And then when you get back to your office, whether it's home or at work, you're energized. You got the blood flow. You got the endorphins going, right? So you're seeing things different. And a lot of us, 2 or 3 in the afternoon, we get the nods. Well, if you get that going where you can get in on your lunch hour and pound out a good workout, you're gonna own that afternoon. It's gonna make a big difference for sure. Yeah, hard, Steve, getting back in routine. That's the hard part about the holidays, man. That's why for me, if I could get ahead of the Christmas and I could get in some traction there, that'd be really cool. And it would give me a chance to hit the ground running in January, as opposed to sort of, when I see it, you got a lot of members coming back that, we didn't see over the holidays because of family and stuff. Then we didn't see much in the first week of January because of families and stuff, and started to trickle a little bit in last week. I know this week we're going to be a lot busier. But that's the battle, right? Is that we can still make the fitness happen. We can still make the nutrition happen. Is that we kind of get caught up in stuff. XYZ 1 2 3 4. Hey, dude, who's that, man? Who's XYZ 1 2 3 4? Is that a Latin name? I don't recognize that. How you doing, man? That's the hard part of it. But I guess what I'm trying to do is make this fitness at such a higher level for myself that it's just part of every day. And if I get a thing going on during the day, or if I'm away from the family, with the family, whatever, I can still get up early and go for a walk, or I'm staying in a hotel, I can still pound out a workout in the evening or something like that. Like, I mean, stop. My goal is to stop making those excuses. Just because you're off for a week on holidays doesn't mean it has to be fucking a freak show, a free for all, right? You can still be disciplined and have certain things that have happened. You get up in the morning and you're not going to be able to hit the gym. you do 50 push-ups, 50 squats, 50 full sit-ups. That's a good workout, right? And then all of a sudden, you're feeling good. The heart rate's moving, the blood's flowing. You're going to look at things a little bit different. You're awake, you're engaged, you're going to eat a little bit better. It's sluggish, right? So we can work on that stuff, right? There's really no excuse, especially with the knowledge we have. I'm just checking some social medias here, guys. See if there's any questions. Awesome. Back to the live. Back to the show. Awesome. Jan, exciting learning new exercises and machines, but still scary? Yeah, for sure. But isn't it kind of cool to be, I think sometimes that happens as we get older, we get complacent, we kind of get bored, we kind of get stuck in a rut. It's nice to be excited and nervous about stuff again, right? That's when things were exciting. And I think that's the part is I think we've cocooned ourselves and settled into a way of life and a job and a day-to-day activity level that kind of just dulls our senses and makes us just blah. And then we're waiting for what can make me excited for half an hour immediately. Well, TV or food or porn or booze or drugs. We can't let ourselves sit there that's what we need, that we feel that's the only way we can stimulate ourselves, right? Jan, loving the change. Absolutely. I'm sure you're feeling different. But along with that, the confidence and how you feel and how you move and how you speak, all that ripples through. I did a little webcast for a 6-week transformation program I have going on that starts tomorrow with the clients. And we have 18 guys and girls in there. And that's what one of them was saying is that he missed being in this type of groove, right? And that's why he jumped into this program, starts tomorrow for 6 weeks, where they're eating tighter and they're training harder and they're doing different things, but they're part of a group and they're part of something, so that it makes them more accountable. But just there's a reason to do all this stuff. Steve says, your switch helps us working towards our goals too with the intensity of the workout. I don't know how we can help you, but we'll keep working hard. You know what? That's the one thing a lot of guys always ask me is that, they want to train and well, we're not as strong as you, we're not whatever. And you know what? When it comes to this stuff, it's not about the strength. For me, it's not, I'll work out with anybody. What I want is you just work hard and do your best. And you contribute to the group that you're working out in. So if 8 push-ups is the best you can do, then that's great. And if 21 reps on the leg press in your final set's the best you can do, or 12 or 4, it's the effort, it's the intensity, and that's what builds. That's what brings that energy to the group or to the workout, is having that kind of thing, right? And then you want to do another set, and you want to do 5 more reps because it's starting to burn, but the pump is awesome, and your muscles feel crazy thick. Well, that's a great feeling. That's the one thing I have to say I do miss now that I'm back into it. I'm like, oh, I miss this. When I got to hop on, on a leg exercise, and I know I got 3 sets and the third one's all out. The first one's tough because I got that mental thing. But when I get to that third one, I'm like, let's just start. Get 2 or 3 reps in, and then 2 or 3 more reps, and then 2 or 3 more reps. And then when you're down to just driving a single rep at a time, whether it's a forced rep or a negative, but that, hey, a couple more and I'm done. But in the meantime, let's push one more. Let's drive it in there. Let's get that blood in there, right? It's amazing. And then you come off that thing, you're just thought I was going to do 8, and I did 11 or 12 or whatever, but you're jacked, right? Jan, have you ever thought of doing online training groups and accountability groups? Yeah, well, that's kind of what I'm transitioning to a little bit. That's why this my latest it's called Fit Not Fat 6-week transformation that starts tomorrow. There's a big component of it that is online. So every Sunday at 8 o'clock, we have a 1-hour webinar. So kind of like this, but more just the people in the group. And every week I've got a different topic, 2 or 3 things to talk about, and then we have sort of a round table of what everyone's going through. And then on the Mondays, the group, because they're local, they're coming in for their weigh-ins and what's going on, and we'll have stuff to talk about then. But then they go and hit the classes they want to hit, the workouts they want to hit. So that's kind of the transition that I'm looking at doing, to the point where I can start doing this online thing and being able to work with clients that are in the same situation, over 40, want to make some changes, but want help with nutrition, want help with training, and just part of something to be accountable of. So it's a weekly check-in, that kind of thing. So yeah, we're moving towards that, Jan. So if I do that, let me know if you're interested, and definitely we look at getting something like that going. We kind of did a small one just before Christmas. Jason was in on that one. It was called 21 Days to Becoming a Badass. and it was 3 weeks of just making a couple changes every day to sort of line yourself up. I thought it went pretty good. So I've had a couple of guys that were in on that one that said they'd like to do something a little more ongoing. So I'm looking at maybe doing something where we have like a monthly, not a monthly group, but we have a group that, every week we have one or two of these calls, and then I work with the clients. So definitely going that way. I'm just not quite sure what that's going to look at like. If you have any suggestions, definitely let me know. And I kind of like the blend of the group as well as the one-on-one. So maybe something that blends it where once a week there's a group call, but then once a week there's a one-on-one call. I don't know. That's kind of it's kind of where I'm moving with some of this stuff overall. I want to scale it obviously so I can reach out and work with more people. But I find, like yourself, Jason, a lot of people are doing what you've done. And Jana, you did some of this as well too. You bought some equipment and you're setting up at home and stuff. So, maybe we do something where in the group, during the month there's a new workout, and with each new workout there's a video for every exercise or something like that. Is that kind of what you're thinking about, as well as the nutrition and some one-on-one time? Is that what you're kind of going towards? I'm just checking the social medias for any other questions at the same time. Janet, all the she of little words. Yep. So yeah, we're definitely moving towards that kind of thing for sure. For sure. What do we got going on? So Jason, you still on with us, bud? Jason, I know you've been doing a lot of work with the keto and the high fat and stuff like that. How's that been going overall? Is that something you're still seeing as sustainable and something that you're going to keep moving forward with? Somebody else just jumped on. If you just jumped on, guys, we're talking about my transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding at 50, what I'm going through, but at the same time, I'm answering any questions and comments that you have as well. So if you just jumped on, just say a little something on the side chat, just hey, what's up or what's going on. Again, if you've got some advice, throw it out there. I'm all about absorbing and learning what I can learn at the same time. If you have any questions or you even want to talk about just the type of training you're doing, go ahead and do that. If you have jumped on and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell so that anytime we have something like this going, you get a notification as well. I want to look at doing this on a weekly basis. So again, accountability for me. Here's my progress. Look at the old guy. He's doing it. But also as a resource for you guys to ask questions and let me help you along the way as well too, right? So again, like anything else, as a community, as a village, we're stronger together and we move towards goals more efficiently and stuff, right? And we just feel like we're being part of something. So something really cool. Am I doing a competition? Yeah, the whole plan is to do a competition at the end of the year. Still not sure which one. I think there's some couple options in November. So yeah, it's all about walking out there and maybe I'll wear a purple Speedo and we'll see how that goes. I don't think the color matters at that point. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's part of that whole bucket thing, that big challenge. That's why for me, like you said earlier, exciting and scary at the same time. For real. For real. And I think if I don't put that kind of commitment level on it, it'll be this thing that it just washes around in my bucket list and never gets done, right? And I don't want to be that way. I want to get shit done with a skull. But problem, Jan, is where do I put the skull? For sure. I don't know. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what's going on. And like I said earlier, I'm already, I'm an old '80s metal guy, so I'm already coming up with ideas for posing routine and music and stuff like that. There's not gonna be a lot of grace and finesse in my shit. See, I was away for a bit. When do you think you would do your first competition? Yeah, they don't call them bodybuilding shows. They don't call them meets. They're called, I guess, competitions or whatever. Contests. A lot of times they call them contests. It'd be looking November-ish. I think that's the whole plan. Take 10, 11 months and see what we can strip away in body fat and what we can add in muscle. I mean, one of the cool things that we're kind of looking at, me and my training partners, at the advantage of being a powerlifter and building muscle for the last 35 years is there's a lot of muscle sitting there. So it's what's it going to look like when we start stripping it away? Where are the balances and imbalances, and what's the symmetry going to look like, and that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. Yeah, no, it's a 2019 goal, Steve. It's I don't want to finish 2019 without having walked up on stage in some fake tan spray and let the world see all my my chiclets or whatever. I don't know, man. Yeah, no, it's a get shit done. So that again, the work starts now, right? So that I can lean out and lose the weight because starting at 392, I if I get to 235 or 240, that's a heavyweight in the bodybuilding world. That's 160 pounds, man. That's a lot. That's a lot for sure. Maybe it'll be 270. Maybe it'll be 242. I don't know. I don't want to put a number on it. I don't want to turn around and go down to 178 because I think at the end of the day, I think I'd be sacrificing a lot of muscle tissue, and I don't think I definitely don't want to do that. And, Chris, if I felt small at 290, I think under 200, I would just worry about being blown around in the wind and stuff like that, right? Excuse me, guys, I have to take a phone call. Hello? Hey? What time? Where's my person? What time? Yes, no later. Bye. Sorry, guys, that was my kid asking for an extension on his curfew on a weeknight and stuff like that. So yeah. So that's the scoop on that, guys. And like I said, I want to do this weekly thing. If you want to jump in with me, that'd be awesome. That'd be cool. Kurt come home, Dolly Haas. No, it's the other way around. It's my son Braden. He's out apparently studying with his girlfriend and wanted to stay out a little longer and stuff like that. So I gave him a half-hour extension, that kind of thing. So you know how it is, right? And that's the hard part too, hey guys. We got to balance this stuff. Steve, I know you have a young son, that kind of thing. So it's definitely something that we have to juggle and manage. But I think also, I think we use it as an excuse as well, right? We just got to get a little more organized. We got to be a little more focused, and that's why it's going to mean something. Because if it doesn't mean something, then we're going to let anything get in the way, right? So like Janet said much earlier, the why. Why am I doing it? If it's not a big enough why, then I'm going to let just about anything get in the way, especially when it starts getting difficult, right? That's when we let things get in the way. That's when we let any excuse. That's when we're easily blown off course and it's hard for us to go back in. If we're determined and we know what the fuck it is we want to do, right? Then it's going to be hard to push us off that mark. We're not going to fall for the, come on, let's go out, you haven't gone out in a while and stuff like that. We're not going to succumb to that, everyone's ordering dessert, so I had to have a dessert, right? Everyone's ordering dessert, you're at that point in the meal, I'm going to leave the meal. Hey, guys, I'm going to go home, right? Or ideally get to the point where it doesn't bother me. We'll see, right? And again, get to stuff like, well, I can't go to a restaurant. Listen, you go to a restaurant, you can order a garden salad with 2 chicken breasts on the side, right? People say, well, it costs more. Well, when you stop drinking, you save a lot of money, right? So there's a lot of ways that we spend our money right now that we can just adjust how we do things and do things differently and stuff and get better results. So we just have to have the will to want to do it and break that comfort level. So a lot of it, guys, is that we're just comfortable, right? And we got to stop being comfortable. We have to break out of that comfort zone. And the only thing that's going to push us past our comfort zone, excuse me, is a huge commitment. Because if that commitment, that why is so big, right, that's what's going to force us out of our comfort zone. It's going to make us have to go to the thing. Guys, I didn't say I want to do my first bodybuilding show and win it. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm going to look like when I get out there. I don't know who's going to be there that night, stuff like that. It's really about getting there, getting to the point where I am walking on stage, right? I want to do the best I can. Jan, cheaper to eat when you food prep, isn't it though? I find the first couple of grocery bills are big because you're buying a lot of the bigger things. But once you start doing the food prep and bringing your lunch and stuff like that, it's a lot cheaper and a lot better for you, a lot better quality, a lot more filling, right? I just learned this, and again, I eat a lot of raw vegetables, and after a while it gets a little long, but you know what? I just realized you can throw a handful of broccoli and cauliflower in the microwave for 90 seconds, comes out steamed, ready to go. I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me this? right? So that's the other thing I'm looking forward to is learning a lot of these little tips and tricks, figuring all these little things out along the way that'll make things easier because more into this endeavor, right? The knowledge is specified, the specificity of the knowledge that's going to be acquired is going to carry over to anything. That's the exciting part, right? That's the real beneficial. And even what's that going to be like? What am I going to be like at the end of this, right? What's going to be the transformation on the inside? Right? Am I gonna turn into a total jerk that never takes a shirt, that never puts a shirt on? I don't think so. Right? I always joked. I said, if I ever get abs, I'm never gonna wear wear a shirt again, even at church. But we'll see. We'll see. But what will that be like? What will be the headspace like? Right? How will I feel about myself? That'll be really cool to see. Right? I mean, what will that be like? Right? Especially if you're someone that's always struggled with their weight. Right? Struggle with the discipline to change your habits, right? We get a lot of that, those genetics. Yeah, genetics are part of it, but a lot of it is just it's nurture versus nature, I think. If you grew up in a family that always ate whatever they want and food didn't matter, then you're gonna have a certain look. If you grew up in a family that's just fast food and junk food and pop all the time, then you're gonna have a certain look about you. If you grew up in a family that was full of fitness and exercise and that kind of thing, if you look at my kids, they're super fit and super lean because they're super active. I wasn't active like that. I was on the farm, but I never played all these sports, right? So what would that have been like? Who knows? So there's a nurture component to the genetics as well, as far as I'm concerned overall. I think that sometimes we use that as an excuse, that kind of thing, right? Jan, you'll feel damn proud. Yeah, for sure. The sense of accomplishment, right? That kind of thing, right? And you inspire people along the way, and you know that you motivate people along the way, and you know there's going to be haters and detractors, all that stuff. All that stuff comes along with it, right? So it'll be really interesting to see what that's all about, right? It'll be really cool to see what's that going to look like at the other end of it and stuff. Like, we project and we hope, but really it's just focus on the inside, focus on me getting that shit done. And then who knows what doors this will open? Who knows what opportunities will present itself? I was talking on one of my podcasts about luck. And I came across a really, really great definition for the word luck. And luck, the definition of luck by this person was when preparedness meets opportunity. So if you're prepared and you're in a certain state and you're focused and you're getting shit done, opportunities will present themselves that wouldn't have been there otherwise. People want to call that luck. I don't believe it's luck. I think it's preparedness meets opportunity. Being ready, moving forward, and then seeing what opportunities lie ahead of us and stuff, right? To me, that's it. Yes, the haters aren't nice. But you know what, John? There's haters whether you do good stuff or bad stuff, right? And yes, it hurts our feelings. Absolutely, right? But I always try to take the big road, the higher road and stuff like that. There's a part of me that wants to smash them in the face for sure. But you know what? You can't do that shit anymore, right? But I always try to think about, well, why are they haters? How miserable is their fucking life that they're being haters? And I'm like, sucks to be them, right? For sure. And that's the crazy thing we talk about too. You could sit there and put a post up, something you're really proud of, and you'll have 8 or 9, 10, 20, 100 positive comments, and you have this one negative comment, and you let that fucking pull you down. And 9 times out of 10, that hater, that negative comment, is some avatar that doesn't even have a picture. Like they're not even brave enough to let people know who they really are. Yet we let that get to us, right? And that's usually because we're not confident yet. And that's why it has more of an effect than it should overall, right? So yeah, if you don't have any haters, you're not doing anything different. You're not doing anything special, right? For sure. Don't forget, guys, to see some more people have popped in here. Throw a little comment in there so we know who you are, or we can see who you are. And if you have any questions and stuff, we're talking about the transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding, and some of the plans and where that's going to go. Chatting with everybody that's here. Any questions want to go over with as well? Something we're going to do, I think, every Sunday at 10 o'clock. Have this kind of thing going on. Talk about, what's happening, what I'm encountering, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And again, answering helping questions. So if you jumped on here and you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, subscribe. Hit that little bell so you get the notifications when something cool is happening and stuff. And then let's see where this goes, and let's see how we can all benefit by going through this together overall. So guys, listen, it's about 45 minutes in. I wanted to make this about an hour. So if there's any questions, let's rock some questions. If you have any questions along the way during the week, you send them off to me. I'll put my email here. how does nutrition change for a switch like this? You see, you've got to just dial in those carbs, man. You got to keep it clean. I am not at a point where I am. That's my email, guys. If you have any questions that you want me to talk about for the next one, or if you want to talk to me in private about anything, go ahead and use that. The way I'm approaching my nutrition now, see what I changed is no processed foods. Look at me, I got a couple oranges, right? No breads, no booze, but I gave that up 4 years ago. And then really portion size. So when I have carbs, I'm having about the size of a fist. Half a cup to a cup, so 30 to 60 grams of carbs. The same amount of size in protein, and then all the veggies that I want. So I'm big into the cauliflower and the broccoli, really good vegetables, and I like them because they're easy to prepare and stuff like that. And it doesn't matter if I'm having chicken or steak. Now, as I lose more weight or things start to slow down, then I'm going to start getting to the point where I'm actually going to be measuring things a little more exact. Right now, I'm probably pulling down around 2,400 calories a day, just going with portion control. I'm just letting, as long as the weight loss is happening and I'm moving forward or downward, as they say, then I'm cool with that. There's a point in time where sometimes I'm probably not eating enough, so we're going to deal with that a little bit along the way. But as I get more comfortable, just like when I started into the high reps and the multiple exercises per body part and stuff, I didn't go crazy because I didn't want to overdo it. I'm doing the same thing with the nutrition, right? It's a weight loss thing, so I need to be losing weight. Every Saturday morning, I jump on the scale, and that's what I'm seeing. And in the moment that stops really slowing down, and as I learn in the learning curve and I get more and just naturally into my food, that's where I'll see things happening and stuff. So where I've done this before was my first 2 meals were carb based with protein and vegetables, and the protein was typically a leaner protein like chicken. And then my 2 evening meals would be drop the carbs, more veggies, and go to a higher fat protein like a red meat or beef or whatever. So that kind of thing. Whey protein, so post workout, a couple scoops of whey protein with half a cup of raw oats blended in there for post workout, and kind of doing like a natural intermittent fasting thing where I'm not really hitting my first meal till 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Not on purpose, just with sleeping patterns, getting up and stuff I'm working on. But definitely, Steve, just cut the stuff out. I mean, even the nutrition package that we worked with when you first started the Silverback, go back to following that, and that you'll see those 5 and 10 pounds start coming off. The hard part too, guys, is not to reach for food as an emotional response, as comfort food, as an old friend, as an old habit, right? That kind of thing. If you sit there and you get stressed, and then do I do fasted cardio? Sometimes it just depends on when the cardio is. I probably will move towards that as I get close, further into the weight loss, Janet. I know that's a favorite of a lot of the bodybuilders, hitting fasted cardio in the morning. I think right now for me, just managing my macros, so controlling the amount of carbs I'm eating, and again for me, right, the sweet tooth, so cutting out the sugars, cutting out the chocolates, the candies, and stuff like that. That's the big one, right? So just taking that out and being more active training wise and building more muscle, and that's the other thing too, because I have more muscle mass, breaking down more muscle and recovering, that's taking up a lot of the calories on the recovery, right? So those carbs and proteins have more specific things to do. So there's a lot less being left over for fat storage, and that's the thing, and stabilizing the blood sugars and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of it overall. Jan, are you doing fasted cardio right now? Guys, there's 5. I see 5 people on there right now. If you haven't had a chance, give the video a thumbs up, a like, and like I said, if this is anything interesting towards that, something you want to pay attention to or follow or do for yourself, subscribe and hit that little bell to remind you when you got stuff going on. So, Janet, you're doing that now. Is that AM or that's first thing in the morning? You're doing the fasted cardio? Excuse me. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I see I got a 4th one. That's cool. Got 5 followers and only 4 thumbs up. Come on. Let's represent all the digits. Unless what I'm saying sucks and you hate it, then give me a thumbs up. There we go. There's the 5th one. The 5th Beatle. AM, yes. Okay, cool. Awesome. So was that really tough at first? How'd you find that transition? A, getting up earlier, and B, starting off with some cardio. What was that like? on a scale of 1 to 10 of suck? So I don't know at what point I'll get into the the twice a day cardios. Yes, with a capital YES and exclamation point. I take that as a 10 out of 10 on the suck. Do you find it's getting easier though now, Janet? The big suck, yeah. Is it a little bit better now than it was initially though? Do you find you're hitting a little bit of a groove? See, I think what's cool, Janet, is I've known you for a couple of years now, and just the stuff you're doing now, no, it's not getting better. It still sucks ass. Well, at least you're honest. I like the honesty on it and stuff like that. Oh, 6 thumbs up. That's crazy. Only 5 people here. But the transition in you, just the first time I met you, when I came and did that little seminar, not in the winter, better in the summer. Are you doing outside cardio? But going back to you, John, when I first met you a couple of years ago, super nice lady, so quiet. I could see in your eyes though you wanted to make changes. And now when I see you, I not only do I see those changes physically, but I see the changes in your eyes. I see you're not the same person. And to me, that's the one thing I find phenomenal about this type of transitional stuff, right? And even Steve who takes he's in my Silverback program. Dude, you're not the same Steve that walked in a year ago. Not just physically, but your confidence, you're social, you talk to people in a way that you didn't talk to people a year and a half ago, right? The evolution has been phenomenal. And that's what I love seeing. To me, that's the exciting part. Jason, I know you've always been social. You're in sales. You'll sell everything to everybody. You're a social butterfly, buddy. I love it. I love it. But even that, when you get healthier and stronger and you've gotten a lot leaner and stuff, you can't deny that doesn't make your job easier from a physical point of view, from an energy point of view, from a confidence point of view, even how people look at you, right? It makes a big difference because you present yourself different as well, right? Yeah, Steve, you're a beast now, man. You're hardcore. You're hardcore. And it's just that to me. And again, the coach in me. That's the rewarding part when I work with people and I see the changes and I see them evolve and become more who they want to be. That's the stuff that makes me feel fulfilled as to what I do overall, right? And you know what? I had this discussion with my coaches at the gym back in November about trying to get each one of them into their own thing again and focus on what their training is, because there's something that happens to us when we train and we focus on things and we're putting ourselves through workouts and challenges and we're getting better. That brings something out in us that people around us just can't help but not pick up on. It goes out, it radiates from us, and then people out there will connect to it. They'll pick up on it and they'll want to have some of that and they'll be drawn towards it, right? So when we're strong and we're physically confident and we feel our muscles and we feel we're tight and we're not bloated and we're feeling good, the world around us senses all that. And then people want to be around that because people want to have that for themselves. They might not know why they're drawn to it, but they're drawn to it, just like we're drawn to it. No matter where we are, as we evolve and we're trying to get better, we're drawn to ideally a higher level. So we're going to be drawn to people that we perceive as being at a higher level, especially in the areas that we want to improve on, right? That's the exciting part. That's the powerful part about it overall. And there's a lot to be said for walking the walk, right? There's a lot to be said for knowing what it's like to be 100 pounds overweight, knowing what it's like to be 50 years old, balancing a family, a career, a job, or whatever, and still trying to take care of yourself. There's a certain knowledge that you acquire when you go through that someone else who's dealing with that will pick up on that. Absolutely, Steve. What you can do now, on the deadlift and the bench press and stuff. Dale Mack, looking forward to following you from Northwest Territories. Will definitely help me focus and motivate it. So Dale McDonald, one of our members, he's about to head off. What I think, what'd you say, 2 weeks from now? He does that crazy ice road trucking shit, right? And Dale's big into the Highland Games and does that kind of stuff, and loves training and stuff. But we had some really good talks in the last couple of weeks just about life and where we're going and where we want to be, what's important to us now, as we get older, as opposed to what was important to us younger and stuff like that. And good. I just I like having Dale around, like seeing same thing, balancing the goals in life with training and being strong. And, it's always an adventure. How many winters have you done the ice trucking now, Steve? Dale? Yeah, 6 years there. And, it's an adventure out there for sure, man. Steve, right now, even though it hasn't been that long, Steve, you're doing really good numbers. And the thing for you, as your confidence starts to as your confidence keeps growing, your unrealized potential has a chance to manifest itself. You're stronger than you realize, right? I see it as a coach, right? But as you start um, acknowledging it yourself, you're going to be able to tap into that strength that's already there, right? So very exciting to be around that. And, I'm looking forward to see what the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months of training brings for you, Steve, because you're moving forward, you're improving and stuff like that. And guys, I really, when it comes down to, it's being able to control our thoughts and our emotions and our mindset and doing things that put us in a better position to do so, that strengthen us and empower us, right? And not engaging in activities that do the opposite, right? So, the activities that we do that aren't good for us, we know what they are. We know the people that in our lives that we shouldn't be hanging out with. We know who we should be working with. We know who should we stay away from, who we should gravitate towards. We know what activities we shouldn't do. We know what things are in a house that we should remove from our house. We know it, right? Absolutely, Jan. Mindset is fucking huge, right? So if you're struggling with the sweets, take the sweets out of the house for the next 30, 60, 90 days. One of the things I've done, and that's one of the reasons why this thing's happening, is I said for January, no TV. Because I would sit there and watch my favorite show and then want to watch 7 other episodes. And I don't have to be in the gym till 1 in the afternoon. So I'm like, well, if I sleep until 6 or 8 or 10, right? It doesn't matter. So I can stay up till 2 or 3. But it does matter, right? It makes a huge difference overall. So one of the things I said, and again, part of it's always trying for me to give myself ongoing challenges to make me better, to challenge me, to see what that looks like. And guys, I'm nowhere near where I want to be and what I have plans for myself, right? And I make it sound easy. It's not easy. I have things to deal with just like everybody else. But I know that in these challenges is what's going to get me there. So January, no TV. Now, YouTube, if it's for something right now, I'm learning how to do some stuff with shirts and stuff and printing. That's a different story. If it's about motivational stuff, that's fine. It's all YouTube, right? But it's specific to what I'm working on. Or it's playing in the background while I'm working on things overall. But I'm downstairs in my office. I'm away from the TV upstairs. So I planned some actual activity time with my wife during the week because we're not in the same room as much anymore, right? And that's a big thing. So, but I know, and I've always known, when I remove the TV, the productivity is going to happen because I'm going to fill that void with something, right? So doing this on a regular basis is fantastic. I see we're up to a whopping 7 people following. If you just jumped in, guys, we're talking about my transition from powerlifting to bodybuilding at 50 years old, what I'm going through, how it's going, but also answering people's questions and just any comments you have and things that are going on in your life and your training. Throw it up on the side. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notified every time that we put a new video out. We're going to be rocking these this live thing every Sunday, and give us a thumbs up on the video if you're getting anything good out of it overall. Show us a little bit of love, a little thumbs up, love, and support. And if you haven't had a chance to jump in on the chat and just jump in and say hi, and we'll talk a little bit about your training if you want, and what's going on. Earlier, I posted my email, kurthaas@gmail.com. If you look above in the chat, if you have any questions or anything like that, and you want to ask me privately, because you're too shy to do whatever, you can. Just don't make it weird. Not into the weird. Past all that. Outgrew all that. Nothing good comes out of that. I'm just checking the other social media platforms. See if there's any questions. What's happening? Carry the 9. Oh, Pinterest. Pinterest is telling me something about Dwayne Johnson. Well, good for Dwayne. Awesome. Again, pretty motivating guy. I think it's always interesting to watch those kind of guys too. And, they're operating at a high level and they're doing all kinds of cool shit. But I'm always like, what's the dude like when you sit down in a coffee shop and you're having a conversation? What's that guy like? What's that girl like? What's grocery shopping with that person like? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It'll always be interesting and stuff for sure. You know? So guys, listen, we've got an hour in. That's kind of the limit I had said. If you have any questions or whatever, throw it up right now. I'll take a couple more minutes to get through it. If not, like I said, be sure you're subscribed. We're going to do this on a regular basis during the week. If you have any questions and you want to fire them off to me, you want me to talk about it next week, I'd be happy to do so. I just want to, like I said, I want to be committed. I want to track my progress, but I also want to help as many people along the way as I can and put myself out there on all those levels. It just makes me better overall. So if there's nothing else, guys, I'm going to say goodnight, and I'll talk to you guys later.